Zephyr strode along a surreal, otherworldly path. The corridor stretched endlessly before him, its walls composed of swirling, iridescent stone that seemed alive, shifting between hues of deep blue and molten gold. The air around him shimmered faintly, carrying an aura of expectation, as though the passage itself awaited his every step. Each footfall echoed faintly, the sound dissolving into the void that enveloped the path. Above, faint glimmers of light flickered like distant stars, casting just enough illumination to hint at the mysteries ahead. The air felt dense, charged with the weight of untold stories and unspoken truths. A faint hum vibrated through the passage, its rhythm perfectly synchronized with Zephyr's steady breathing. His golden eyes glimmered with quiet determination as he pressed forward. "Imaginations show," Zephyr murmured, his voice a low, introspective hum. His gaze drifted to the walls, which pulsed with spectral energy in response to his presence, as if acknowledging his passage. "The meta-steps," he continued, his talons clicking softly against the stone floor. His wings folded neatly at his sides, twitched slightly as the air grew warmer. A faint metallic tang lingered in the atmosphere, teasing his senses. "Tales weave through the passage down the road," he said, his words drifting into the charged silence of the corridor. In the distance, a low rumble echoed, like the grinding of tectonic plates deep beneath the surface. Zephyr twitched, his head tilting as he listened. "Do the whales understand through the pressure?" he wondered aloud. He stopped and placed a hand on the cool stone wall. Its texture was rough, like unpolished marble, yet it pulsed faintly beneath his touch, alive with an energy that resonated deep within. "The mountain grows its skin," he said softly, his tone steady but laced with resolve. "Erosion of fantasy, the bloodline cements legacy." The corridor widened slightly, revealing scattered fragments of broken pillars and shards of glowing materia. The air thickened, carrying a faint acrid smell that hinted at recent conflict. Zephyr moved carefully, his gaze sharp as he stepped over the debris. "Aggression," he murmured, the blocks of materia, overlays, hysteria. Ahead, a faint erratic glow pulsed in the distance. A low resonant hum accompanied it, growing steadily louder. Zephyr paused, his wings twitching as a subtle vibration ripped through the ground beneath him. "An abyssal boucan, the army reaches climax," he muttered, his voice tinged with anticipation. The ground trembled as he approached the glow, the hum intensifying into a steady vibration that seemed to fill the air itself. "Forces clash," he continued. "Tang, the blood's iron cracks." A low growl echoed through the corridor, a guttural sound that seemed to emanate from an unseen beast lurking just beyond the light. Zephyr's golden eyes narrowed, his tone sharpening. "What is the bore?" he asked, his voice carrying a note of curiosity. He paused, his gaze distant, his mind turning over the possibilities. "There must be a way to fuse becoming," he said, his words laced with determination. The air rippled faintly, as though reality itself responded to his voice. A faint breeze brushed past him, carrying the scent of molten wax and charred wood. "This cannot be," Zephyr said firmly, stepping into an open chamber. The chamber was dominated by a melted candle structure that rose from the ground like a flowing monument. Molten wax dripped continuously from its sides, pooling into shimmering puddles that spread across the floor. A small flame flickered atop the structure, casting fluid, shifting shadows on the walls. Zephyr extended a wing, summoning a small candle of his own. Its flickering flame mirrored the larger structure, the two lights dancing in perfect harmony. "Some wax," he murmured. "Features tax the barrage of steps of compounding chips." Turning his gaze to the far end of the chamber, he spotted a large pillar jutting from the wall. Its surface was etched with the alchemical symbol for water, glowing faintly blue. "The hunger card," he said, his voice steady, "prepared in stone. The first of 4, another mile marker." As he approached the pillar, the corridor ahead bent sharply, leading him to a blank stone wall, a dead end. A vivid painting of a rabbit adorned the surface, its colors vibrant and striking against the muted stone. Zephyr stared at the rabbit, his expression calm and curious. Without warning, the painted rabbit began to move, its form hopped playfully across the walls, its movements smooth and fluid. "You hold on too tight," the rabbit said cheerfully. "It's already set. You understand this, right?" The wall trembled and folded in on itself, collapsing inward to reveal a new passage. Zephyr stepped through without hesitation, his golden eyes scanning the shifting space ahead. "I believe I see," he murmured. "The path can be crafted." The new passage opened into a series of stacked, colorful platforms. Each platform glowed faintly, a unique hue distinguishing one from the next. Atop the highest platform stood a rectangular pillar adorned with a red diamond and a goetic star. Zephyr climbed the platforms with deliberate movements, his talons clicking softly against the glowing surfaces. With each step, the platforms dissolved beneath him, lowering him slowly until he stood at the bottom, deep within the earth. The air grew heavier, dense and still, pressing against him like an unseen weight. "The cards reveal the star," he said, his voice tinged with awe. "Perception blooms, each stage greater heights." The corridor ahead pulsed faintly, its walls etched with intricate glowing patterns. Zephyr moved forward. His steps were steady, his voice softening. "What was once impossible," he murmured, "becomes a daily occurrence. Volumetric process, never thoughtless, infinite and pure." The ground beneath him shook suddenly, a sharp tremor splitting the stillness. Faint cracks spiderwebbed across the floor, revealing glimpses of molten light beneath. Zephyr paused, his gaze sharpening. "Volcanic grudge," he said. "Feel the magnitude pulse. Prepare for the flood." The corridor opened into a grand chamber, the Hall of Cards. Towering stacks of cards extended endlessly upward, their surfaces glowing faintly with a soft shifting light. The air was alive, pulsing with possibility as though each card awaited its moment to be drawn. "It's the Hall of Cards," Zephyr said. His tone was reverent, in dimensions of 3 with time. He stepped further into the chamber, his golden eyes scanning the space with quiet intensity. The cards seemed to hum in response, their glow pulsing faintly in time with his breathing. "There is no telling what space creates," Zephyr said. "After all, this is only the beginning." He paused, taking a deep breath as his gaze drifted back toward the path he had traversed. His voice grew quieter. "Months of passage from now," he murmured, "the stacked bricks will be high. Well, breath is true. Climb. The expansion materializes through you. So let go. It's all connected to what you choose." With that, he stepped forward, disappearing into the shifting light of the Hall of Cards. The faint hum of the chamber resonated, carrying his presence into the endless unknown.